guys, welcome to exercise 1B, and it's expanding brackets. You've literally been doing this since year 7. Okay, so I'm not going to bother going through how to expand brackets. You know to multiply everything by what's on the outside and then collect your like terms after. You can go through that. You know how to expand like things like this. It's the first times the first, first times the second, second times the first, second times the second. Deal with negatives as you need to. Yeah, don't get confused by this second line. Same with this one. I would multiply everything by the first and then multiply everything by the second. Deal with negatives as you need to. Special expansions though, these are the things we did have trouble with these last year, and I think that they deserve some practice this year. So let's pull these out. Special expansions. And let's have a look at some of these. So you actually know all of these. You know that if you've got something plus something in brackets, the whole thing squared, you do the first one squared plus 2 times the first times the second plus the second one squared. If it's a minus inside, the only difference is that you do the first one squared minus the first 2 times the first times the second plus the second one squared. You've done this, and I'll be running through examples if you don't quite remember. Difference of squares, something to remember. It works out to be the first one squared minus the second one squared. And this, you could write out these brackets, so a plus b, and multiply it out, and you'll find that you get this. You've just given yourself an annoying second step of work. And when we're factorizing, we really need to be able to look at something like this and recognize that it actually came from this. And look at something like this and recognize that it actually came from this. Factorizing was 1C, by the way, not 1B. So let's have a look at example 6 and let's work through these questions. So, no, what just happened? Draw. Okay. So if we have a look at question A, we've got x plus 4 all squared. Well, my first term is this x and my second term is this 4. So don't forget, if it's something plus something all squared, it's the first term squared plus, why is that not working? 2 times the first term times the second term plus the second term squared. So we have our first term squared plus 2 times the first term times the second term plus the second term squared. That 2 is always there. And you could actually go through and write this out. X plus 4 times x plus 4, we've got our x times x is x squared. X times positive 4 is plus 4x. Positive 4 times x is plus 4x. Positive 4 times 4 is 4 squared. And you're going to end up with this. You've just given yourself more work. So let's actually deal with this now. We've got our x squared. There's no other x squared terms. 2 times x times 4 and 4 squared. Question B, really similar, but this time we've got a minus. Our terms are also a little bit fancier, but we've still got the first term squared. This time it's minus because there's a minus inside the brackets. 2 times the first term times the second term plus the second term squared. Now I've put brackets there to remind myself that I have to square the 3 as well as the t. If you just wrote plus 3t squared, that squared would only apply to the t, so I've put brackets there. You probably skip this step. Hopefully you skip this step. It's good if you skip this step. So we've got our s squared, 2 times s times 3t, negative 6st. 3t all squared, 9t squared. Hopefully no surprises there. And C, x plus 3y, x take 3y. So we've got 2 things in brackets. The things are the same. The only difference is the sign inside the brackets. We've got a plus and a minus. And it also wouldn't matter if we had a minus and a plus. Same deal. Don't forget, multiplication is commutative. It's fun to say that. And so we've got our first thing squared minus the second thing squared. Again, brackets to remind myself that I've got to square the 3 as well as the y. So that just gives us x squared take 9y squared. Again, with all of these, you could have written x times x plus x times negative 3y plus positive 3y times x plus positive 3y times negative 3y, the x times negative 3y and the positive 3y times x, they cancel out because you've got minus something plus the exact same thing. So this is actually the quicker way. Get used to these. Now, let's have a look at the questions you'll be expected to solve. And if your textbook looks different to this, that's because you got the extension textbook, not the advanced textbook. Yours has more cool stuff. So the foundation questions, if you need practice with these, do them all, get it down pat. If you don't, I would only probably do the trickier looking ones, like I wouldn't do question 1. Although don't forget, negative outside the brackets just changes the sign of anything inside the brackets, because it's like having a negative 1 out the front. The 1 is hiding. It's a bit shy because it's a bit rubbish. These ones, you know how to do these. The development questions, I would do every second question. Yeah, every second question should give you enough practice. If you need more practice, do all of them. And the challenge questions, these are still in development for people. They're still included in the development questions for the people who are doing extension. I keep wanting to say expansion. If you're in advanced, I would do all of these questions because they're your challenge questions. If you're in extension, I would just keep doing every second one because you've got enrichment questions, not challenge, enrichment, later on, and I want you to do all of those. Cheers. How do I stop this?